Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, the Squier Sonic Esquire. Cool guitar, but gotta be honest.
The lamest excuse for an Esquire throughout all of human recorded history. Well, maybe I'm being a bit too harsh. Squier Sonic Esquire is a decent looking guitar. The ultraviolet paint job kind of pops on this one. Single humbucker, which comes in at about 8K, isn't too bad either. It's got that 9.5 radius Indian Laurel fretboard with narrow tall frets, and a synthetic bone nut, which is nice to have. No serious friction or sticking on this one. Keys are standard Squier ones, seem a bit janky on this guitar, so might change those out. And is this plate supposed to be upside down? And no so-called three-way switch that no one understands? Come on, Fender. And of course the string through is long gone. Somehow the cheapo Bullet series had them, but Fender Squier decided to get rid of that long ago. Fender's good at getting rid of things that people really like.
With that in mind, here is my take on the simple additions Fender Squier should have made to this guitar to make it a little more fun, make it stand out a bit more, and add value back for you, its valuable customers. I'll see you at the table.
To get started, under the hood, this has got a standard humbucker, as I mentioned, which comes in at around 8K. Typical dime-sized pots with, of course, no switch, but at least these are Korean made, so not the worst you can get. And let's not forget Squier Sonic's unexplained unused neck cavity with shielding, but no shielding in the main cavity. Well, at least the control cavity is shielded and nice and deep. Neck cavity looks okay, but a few burrs and some sticky stuff here, so a bit of filing is in order to give this a smooth shave. As the old Gillette ad put it, the best a Squier can get. On to the work portion here. First, we're going to give this guitar string through using this string through block. Now, I know, heresy, you say I'm not using a drill press. Well, if I was using string ferrules, I'd definitely use the drill press, but with a ferrule block, it's a bit of a cheat in that you really just have to start with a fine drill bit and drill reasonably straight as I've done here. And once that's done, I just drill out the high and low E on the back and fix the block in place, and then you can progressively step up your bits until you can sink your plate in place. A couple of taps with the impact hammer to get that nice and snug now. Yeah, this is kind of a cheap way to do string through, but if you don't have a drill press quick and handy, and if you can drill straight, this is just as good an option as any. Then we'll use my plate here, my template plate, which I call Old Chrome Face. Drill my plate. I'll drill your plate. That was stupid, I don't know why I said that. Now onto the humbucker. I'm going to use this Amazon Direct humbucker. Comes in at around 8K, similar to the humbucker that came out of this. It's a Fleor branded humbucker, one of those China-made Alnico 5s. And for the wiring for this has definitely got to have some kind of switching, so we'll do a standard split humbucker scheme using a push-pull pot for the tone with orange drop cap and a 500K full-size pot for the volume. Oh yeah, there's one screw up here where I didn't secure this in place, and then screw it up again by fixing this to the top lug and not the bottom where it's supposed to be, and as a result I spent the night in jail. Who knew wiring a push-pull pot in a faulty manner is a criminal offense in Canada, but there you go. But now that I'm out of jail and out on bail in California dreaming, as Tupac Shakur once put it, I will post the Seymour Duncan wiring diagram for this in the description. Yeah, just a bit of cleaning up these frets with some steel wool to make them nice and smooth, and shiny and fresh. And I'll clean any remaining debris off the fretboard here at this point. And finally a little bit of lemon oil. Do caution you not to use too much lemon oil or other oil on this. Indian Laurel is a very porous fretboard material, and therefore any more than really one coat will make it very grippy, so just be cautious of that. And finally, I'm going to switch out these keys with this other set of keys that have a slightly higher gear ratio and are a direct replacement for the Squier keys, meaning the pegs will fit right in the Squier holes. Again, I will post a link to all of the products I used in this particular guitar, as well as the wiring diagram in the description. So yeah, Couple of simple little mods there. Nothing too special, nothing too fancy. A little bit of a sleeper guitar now. Not too bad, so let's see how it plays in a simple demo.
There you have it, folks, the Squier Sonic Esquire. Overall, not a bad beginner guitar. Visible step up in quality from that Squier FSR Bullet I reviewed a couple videos ago. Not spectacular by any means, but pretty much what you'd expect for a $270 guitar in Canada. Back to what I said at the start of this video, I felt like this was kind of a weak way to introduce the Esquire name to the bottom of the Squier line. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the idea of a humbucker Esquire, but come on, if you're doing an Esquire, you've really got to at least have a two-way toggle switch or something. I mean, the whole essence of the Esquire is the three-way switch that no one understands, and not having that really kind of negates the whole Esquire thing, in my opinion. The lack of string through, maybe I can live with that, but not having any switching, not even a push-pull pot in the stock guitar, that's kind of really like a deal breaker for me. So why did I do this mod, and why am I harping on and on about this? Well, Fender's not just one of the biggest guitar manufacturers in the world and the biggest industry players. They're a company which we expect, or at least hope, will lead the way in both quality and innovation, from the highest custom shop Strat right down to the cheapest Bullet tele. And yet, regardless of how cheap this guitar is, and I realize it is the bottom of the line, when I see Fender Squier taking the easy way out and making no more than cheap one humbucker tele and calling it an Esquire, then when I turn around and see the very cheap overseas manufacturers who are putting split humbuckers and push-pull pots into their guitars and selling them for half the price, you can be sure I get to wondering why Squier isn't taking those simple extra steps to do the same. On the bright side, I got to admit this $30 Fleor humbucker I put in the bridge handles drive and distortion pretty darn well, and with a push-pull split you get a good single coil tone too. I think sticking with a humbucker in the 8K range for this guitar is really the sweet spot, and of course, for $30, just evidence that it won't cost you a whole lot to bring the tone of this guitar to life. So ultimately, in conclusion, I hope for the sake of Squier and the sake of you, the buyer, that Fender Squier gets the message and puts a few extra dollars into these little additions, because the competition will do it for half the price if they don't, and because you certainly deserve more at over $300 plus taxes than this cut rate approach to an Esquire. You put your money down, you put your trust in. Let's start asking Fender Squier to act like the reliable old company we expect and reward players at all levels and price points with something they can call a truly value-packed guitar. That'll do it, folks. Thanks for joining me on this episode. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and so on and so forth. Keep on playing, and keep watching the channel for a whole lot more.